I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
A little flip there.
Shout out to the big homie Kool-Aid. And shout out to Kool-Aid's grandma. Listen, Kool-Aid, if your grandmother wants a Vin and Sori shirt, she can get one free of charge. Send an email, villageexchange@gmail.com. We'll get your grandmom a shirt, and then if she wears it, then holy moly! If she wears it in a pic, we'll get you a song. How's that? If I see grandma in a Vin and Sori shirt,
yeah, how could we not? How could we not? Okay, so I just need a little clarification because Mark just
we're doing Lacuna Coil Ghost Trail by Cult of Luna.
Oh, because we just did Grown Below. Okay. Yep.
Ready?
No, I have to read what he said about it.
Okay.
Okay. Cult of Luna Ghost Trail. He said, another golden standard post-metal band, a staple of the genre, and perhaps my favorite band. You've done a song with them before with Julie Christmas a long time ago, and you guys gave it an 11.
Vaguely familiar,
right.
Yes.
And this is your
that
favorite.
all he said?
That makes me even more interested.
Yeah, I remember the last name, Julie Christmas. I also remember, wasn't that his girlfriend or something like that? Weren't they like together at the time of the song?
Babe,
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't really know.
Okay.
I wish I could
Cult
put that picture up.
of Luna Ghost Trail. Let's go. that song. I love that
I
shit.
didn't know if it was going to be done or what was happening here. Okay, well,
What happened?
Shoot.
Talk to me.
well, you know what it was reminding me of? I was trying to search our history, but it appears you watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. We were watching this thing where it was talking about, okay, the guy, he had a near-death experience, he died.
Was this the one I was listening to last night? Must have been the one I was listening to last night.
It was before the kid that had the sand cave in on him, or maybe it was after. But there was a guy.
The first guy. I know you're talking about.
What happened to him again?
He was swimming. No, they were hiking. It was the Alps or something like that. He was
that's
on a mountain.
right.
He was hypothermia.
It was hypothermia, and he didn't listen to his own, like, what he already knew about the stuff. That was pretty freaky when he said, apparently you get to this point when you're having, like, serious hypothermia, where your body begins to just throw out a lot of heat to your extremities to keep, he said, your extremities from falling off. And then he said that when that happened, even though he knew better, he unzipped his jacket.
Yeah, you're about to go.
Yeah. So anyway, when he was talking about it, he said that when he came back and he survived, that it was weird because he sounded like somebody who had been on LSD or something like that. Like,
the guy?
Well, is that the right word, LSD? Which is the one, like, ayahuasca
DMT?
or whatever it is. DMT,
Ayahuasca?
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So he sounded like somebody who'd been on that because he said that he basically came to the realization that there was no such, like, that religion was nothing, basically, but that God was everything. Like, I'm totally botching his words.
Yeah.
But he realized that, like, more like God is not constrained to the box that people try to put him in. But anyway, it was very, very interesting. And it reminded me of this. Beyond time I traveled, no space has bound me. Follow the will I know, the eternal order revealed. Past my dreams, all doubt disappeared. My vision becomes clear. Treachery is the poison and the union is in our blood. Just because in that thing, like when he was talking about it, it was I wanted to post the link here because it's a very interesting thing to watch. But the way that it affected him, because he said that he couldn't even enjoy sunsets and sunrises for over a year.
Yeah, he said he made a mistake.
Yeah, because so apparently when he was on the other side, he had the decision whether he was going to come back or stay there. And he said, I'll go back. But as soon as the words left his mouth, he felt the horror and regret.
Instant regret.
Yes!
Instant
I was like, I did
regret.
not like those words, instant regret. And so he, but it was a very interesting...
It was really fucked up, too, because he was like, yeah, I got to get back to my parents and stuff. My parents really need me, yada, yada, yada. So apparently the angel was like, well, we'd like you to... Because usually when you hear those stories, it's not your time, you need to go back.
Right.
But the angel was like, well, I mean, we'd like you to stay, but, I mean, if you really want to go back to your mom, I guess. And the guy's like, yeah, I got to head back to my mom. So they shot him back into his body, and he was like, instant regret.
I can see how horrible that would be. Like, if that's how it went down, like... He said that the one thing that he realized was that everything here is just not real. Like, basically, all of this is just an illusion, and that the real is somewhere else. And
yeah.
Apparently, he suffered with a lot of depression since then because
he did.
Poor man, he should have stayed. But anyway, so that reminded me because it was talking, like the time travel not being bound by stuff, and vision becoming clear, stuff like that.
The eternal order revealed. Yeah.
And then right here at the end, the king with beak and talons, in the form of a man, nothing escapes those eyes. He sees everything. In that part, it was like, because it's when he talked about this light. A lot of times they talk about light that speaks. Like that the light doesn't like talk, but it speaks.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain that. It actually makes complete sense when I say it, but then when I hear myself saying it, I'm like, well, that doesn't make any damn sense.
Yeah, the light was saying, I'm going to take you now. Because he was dying and
he felt like this unbelievable love.
He had this, he got tunnel vision, which is what happens when you black out. And then the tunnel expanded, and then there was this thing of light that hit him and was also talking to him and all, and took him out. Yeah.
But the way that he explained that once he got there, he remembered all the places that he had ever been and where he came from and everything. Like all of a sudden everything just began to make sense. And it seemed to me like it was, he found that eternal love that he had been wanting. That eternal love filled him, and that it was something that brought him all the way back and into the future, and it like completed him.
Yeah.
And it had been, he said, he talked about how it had been loving him and stuff like that. But he had abandoned all religion, and so you thought that he had abandoned all ideas of God, but he was speaking about this as though it were a God.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating.
Yeah, it was.
If I had the link, I'd post it for you guys.
Yeah,
I just don't have it.
Past my dreams, all doubt disappeared. My vision became clear. Treachery is the poison. The union is in our blood. It looks like he's having some sort of, I don't know if he did it to himself and now he's having this experience, but he's talking about going past his dreams and all doubt disappearing, which is a very interesting way to talk about your consciousness.
I like that. Past my dreams, all doubt disappeared. Because a lot of times you have a dream and you doubt yourself, or you doubt that you can get there, or you doubt that you're going to have whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
And he's saying he got to the point where he was beyond his own dreams. And he
right, we're talking about a guy who's had a near-death experience. We're going back and forth with the lyrics in case you're lost. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you for sure. But you know, Lisa a couple days ago, she's having this recurring dream for 10 years.
I have so many.
And I said, send it to me, you know, whatever. And then somebody goes, oh, your dreams are just your subconscious trying to tell you a message, whatever. And he said it with so much confidence. And I just chuckled to myself. Because I was like, well, if you're right, then I feel like a lot of the stuff that, like, amazing, crazy stuff, the stuff of, like, fantasy now, I feel like it's all in front of us. And it's like, it's so in front of us that it's so in our face that we don't see it. So one example would be this idea that your dreams are simply your subconscious trying to tell you something. Do you understand what the fuck you just said?
I know.
Your dreams are your subconscious trying to tell you something? So your subconscious is an independent agent that sits back and says, I want to tell Soraya something, but I can't because this guy, who we'll call consciousness, is going to stop the message. So now we've got two independent agents, your consciousness and your subconscious. Your subconscious is trying to tell you something, but then your consciousness is fighting it. What the fuck are you doing? You're just this passive, observer or participant. It's very, very, and we say this stuff and we just say it. It's like, and we don't think through what we're actually saying, because what we're saying is incredible. It's incredible. And so, like, a lot of this shit is, like, right in front of us. And we repeat this stuff over and over again, and we're not thinking through the ramifications of what that means. What do you mean it's your subconscious trying to tell you something? I
was telling Vinny the other day, I'm like, so a lot of times what happens, I wake up a lot because I hear different things, like kids bumping around or whatever. And so I'm like, I was in a really good dream, and I wanted to know how that dream was going to turn out. And so I was trying to get back to sleep, to get back into the dream, to finish it. And I said, that's insane. That means that there's a part of my mind that's telling a story that the other part of my mind doesn't know the ending of. And so my one mind wants to know what the other mind is concocting in there.
Yeah.
I was able to get back into the dream, and I was able to go back to it. I actually woke up 3 times before I made it to the end of that dream. And I was able to go back to it all 3 times.
Yeah,
it's pretty weird. I don't usually get back to the same dreams.
I wish you could have like a week with Jordan Peterson.
Me
because
too.
I think you'd be.
Me too.
Yeah, but I just thought it, the first time I really thought that through, I was like, this is some amazing shit, and then it becomes terrifying.
Wow.
Because it's like, I've got this independent consciousness
I know.
that's somehow related to me that has a mind of its own, strategizes, waits for the other part of me to go to sleep so that it can then go and preach its gospel, waits for me to be in an unguarded state like sleep so then it can take over. And then when you're asleep, most of us don't know that we're dreaming. Mm-hmm. So this is ridiculous. There's a movie in your head that you're a part of.
Yeah. That
you wake up from and you say, "Oh, that wasn't the real world." Real. Like it's mind-boggling.
The other thing too is if your subconscious is trying to tell you something, I find it very cute that when you fall asleep, you don't have like a conversation with some figure. You see a story.
Right.
And that's like in our entire history of all of us is it dates back to stories, and that's how information was passed, and that's how wisdom was passed, and there's so much about stories and all of us dream in stories.
Yeah, and it's a strange, you had the Yanny Laurel thing, right? Some people are hearing Yanny, some people are hearing Laurel. You have the dress thing, and it's like all these layers of perception and what we call reality. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and then when you really listen to what the quantum physicists have been saying, when Hoffman says that space-time is dead, and apparently that's it's been dead for quite some space and time, like as we see it. Apparently the majority report is none of them believe that what we see is what's actually there. So like it's just the more and more
that's comforting. It made me feel like I fell into a black hole.
Yeah, the more you read stuff, the more you're like, what the fuck? So I'm looking at these lyrics. He's talking about like going past his dreams and all that. Like that's significant, man. Mm-hmm. And then the next question is like the concept of language.
Yeah. Somebody
found a way to harmonize the physical and the metaphysical world. There was a person. That's another thing for me with God, where I'm just like, there has to be a God, because even the concept of language itself, right? It's not that, look, modifying a language like, hey, we're all from here, we speak the same dialect, and so over time it's gonna. But the entire concept of a person saying, I have all these pictures in my mind about what I want to happen into the real world. So I'm going to start uttering syllables in a certain kind of order. And then you are going to be able to see in your mind the picture I had in my mind. And then we can then draw that out and manifest it in the real world. What? We just
that is crazy.
We just randomly decided to do that. We just and look, pink cow. I just controlled your mind. Right now, you have a pink cow in your head and you can't get it out. And somebody who's much less intelligent than us, right? Because we're going with certain assumptions. So this is just some ridiculous caveman who's whatever. He came up with that's probably the crazy. I always say the wheel is the greatest invention. Yeah. Okay, speech itself is above the wheel.
Yeah, but I don't believe we invented speech.
I don't either. I don't believe we invented speech. Jesus is the word. I'm saying, like, this is what I mean. This is basic shit that was in front of us the entire time. All you have to do is sit and think. This weird-ass caveman sat back and came up with that. As he was trying to escape from the wildebeest and all this other shit, he came up with a concept like that. Okay.
Well...
Okay. I mean,
I know. You might want to rethink that one. Cheers to you.
I just think the answers that a lot of us are looking for are right in front of us. To me, it's impossible that some caveman sat on a rock and put that together. That's impossible to me. It's almost, the wheel kind of makes sense because wheels kind of at times occur naturally in nature, but
the other thing, really, you can't really explain all the different languages.
No,
it becomes crazy at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you have so many different languages. There's all these tribes, and I don't know how many different languages are. I used to keep caught up with that because, I was trying to track when God was going to come back and take everybody, but. Let's not go down that rabbit trail.
Yeah.
And there's so many different languages that's unbelievable.
Look, Andre goes, it's called communication. I understand it's called communication. You know what's communication? Is you and I right now talking on the internet.
Yeah.
Somebody came up with that idea, right? So I understand the category of the phenomena is called the category of communication. The question is, how did we figure out how to do that? Because that does not happen naturally in the animal world. Dolphins send signals to each other or whatever. Birds don't really sing. They're just signals.
Even in that sense, when you talk about like dolphins or animals that kind of herd, you don't have the different sound, as far as I know. They don't sound different in Africa than they do in the other place over there, where we have so many different languages. It simply doesn't make sense that we would say, you know what? Why should we have one language? Let's create more and more.
Yeah.
Like with all of the things that people have to deal with, why would they just stick to one language? It makes much more sense.
Insane.
Unless the biblical narrative is true.
It
was forced upon us.
Yeah, and look, even if you don't want to believe the Bible, that's fine. But something else is happening with us. Something is happening with us and with consciousness that is, and you know, you do well to try to figure that shit out, man, or at least try to find a worldview that accounts for all of this amazing shit that we deal with, that we deal with every day. You have a movie in your head every day that you did not write that has a beginning, middle, and end, and it just plays in your head, and it's just normal. But if you lived in a world where nobody ever dreamed, they would laugh at you. They would say that you're full of shit. That's the thing that's like so amazing to me about the arrogance and the hubris of human, especially modern human beings. We're so well, they didn't have a computer. What do they know? They didn't have Google. They're not as smart as us.
The other thing too that you have to consider is shoot, my whoop, it just went. You were just saying it went. Forget about it.
Look at Ben. Look at Ben. It's surreal watching two grown adults act like animals don't have different kinds of chattering. Ben, there's a difference between chattering, okay, and Romeo and Juliet. That's
and the other thing is we're all human beings. We're not saying that lions can talk to elephants or that elephants can talk to dolphins. The dolphins all, to my knowledge, all the dolphins kind of speak the same dialect of whatever. You know, there's not like a different. We're human beings. We have so many different languages that if you look at the struggle that there was from the beginning, like you said, we're getting chased by the wildebeest. It makes no logical sense. Why would you create so many different languages? It doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you go with just the first way of communicating and stick to the same one?
Yep. What do you give the song?
So I am actually giving this one. So this song was funny because in some instances it felt so long.
True.
And then in other instances, so I thought to myself, if I was like in an airport and they said you have to listen to this whole song before you can see Vinny, and it'd been like 3 months since I've seen him, this song would be friggin' torture. It's not sucking me in. It's not doing anything. But if I say I am trapped in a jail and I have this music, then I would listen to the music and I would love the length of it and I wouldn't even feel the length of it because I can't go anywhere. Anyway, so keeping those two things in mind, I still very much like the song, but I don't like it when a song makes me say, this might be a little long. I feel like that's a bad sign for me. So I'm going to have to like pull it down a little bit on the ratings due to that fact. So 8.2 for me.
I think you're completely crazy. And I think this song is especially the end. It was a very, very unique song. A little bit on the long side. I did feel the length, which usually gets a demerit for me. And it's going to. But it made up for the demerit due to the way that it finished. It finished very, 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 very strong. Very strong.
I forgot how heavy it got at the end.
And guys, we're not asking about
8.7.
the evolution of the English language or any other language. We're talking about the concept of language itself.
Right.
Which is probably the most brilliant invention ever in human history. And if the majority report is true, our ancestors were just dumb cavemen and women just eking out survival. How the fuck did we come up with something that complex? That's the question. Okay.
So you didn't rate it?
I'm gonna give this song a 9.5. That outro was insane. I would have given
8.7.
it. I would have given it a 10.5. It was probably a minute and 14 seconds too long. But that outro really made up for it, and it's another gonna steal. I think I just disconnected all this shit. Look at that.
Oh, but that's okay. The
Yeah.
internet didn't get pulled out, so.
Yeah, no, we're good. Good.
What's that?
There you are. It's
light.
it's another thingamajiggy.
Looks like just a light. Okay. Well,
There you
anyway.
are, dear listener. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.
Oh, shoot. I keep forgetting to end the poll before the thing.
What was the poll?
So,
Doom, doom, doom. I can't get that like outro out of my head. That
so
shit
the
was
poll
crazy.
was 50% loved it, 29% thought it was decent, 16% thought it was top notch, and 4% hated it.
What's next? Are we doing Amen Ra next or Abraham?
Okay, so Cult of Luna Ghost Trail.
Amen Ra?
So, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Children of the Eye.
Amen Ra, Children of the Eye. See, it's the Eye of Horus, probably. It's Egypt Day on the Vin and Sori channel. Okay, guys, stand by. Amen Ra is coming up, you losers. What did she say? They're losers.
They're losers.
Losers.
You're a loser.
Wait, Vin out.
Sorry out.
Down.